Minimalism is a relatively new trend where people choose to live solely on the necessities for survival, only own possessions that are truly meaningful, and choose to spend money on things only if they truly add value to their lives. By rethinking about what is truly important and necessary in life, minimalists are selling off their useless possessions in order to declutter their personal space and their mind, cutting out unnecessary habits to make room for the things that matter the most, and completely restructuring their financial lives in order to pursue financial freedom and independence. If you haven't figured it out already, I am a minimalist. Lately, I've been asking myself, what would happen to the economy if everybody suddenly became a minimalist? Would all kinds of retail and non-essential businesses go under, causing the global economy to crash and millions of people lose their retirement and wealth-building assets? Would millions of retail and hospitality workers suddenly find themselves without a job because people would choose to stay at home and cook rather than go out? What about the housing market? Would everybody suddenly become a hipster and want to live in RVs and tiny houses and cause a wipeout in the values of single-family homes, condos, and mansions? Would more people be inclined to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel? Well, as this minimalism trend continues to grow, I predict that there will be massive changes to our economic structure. No, I don't think the economy will crash altogether and send us into a 10-year apocalyptic Great Depression just because some newly enlightened documentary watcher chooses to skip out on his morning latte. I just think that the entire economy will start to restructure itself. Luxury and non-essential products will lose sales, and big brand companies will go out of business or downsize. New and up-and-coming, environmentally friendly, well-intended, purpose-oriented, and philanthropy-driven companies will start to dominate the markets. We'll see a massive reallocation of capital distribution as big businesses fall off the large indexes like Dow Jones, S&P 500, and NASDAQ, and these other smaller, values-driven companies will begin to take their place. While this may seem like millions of hardworking people working for large corporations will lose their jobs and have to transition into different career paths revolving around minimalistic ideals, I believe that these changes will happen slowly over time and that the overall economy will not suffer altogether, but in the end, appreciate overall because of a change in consumers' motives for buying. Companies involved in clean energy, organic wholesome food, safe household products, and charity work will end up flourishing because the new minimalistically driven consumers will only want to support companies that have a people-driven message. Corporations who seek only to profit for their CEOs and top executives, with basically zero concern for the environment or the well-being of their lower-level employees, will start to suffer because conscious consumers will no longer want to support these only-for-themselves motives-driven companies. Yes, more than likely we will enter into a period of pretty serious recession as large companies quickly start cutting non-essential jobs and scaling down production, and morally driven companies will take some time to build new factories and technologies, and hence new jobs for laid off former employees. Or even better, maybe these values-driven small businesses would make offers to absorb the resources of the bigger companies, which would be ironic because it's usually the other way around. And I doubt that this last option would occur, but maybe these out-for-themselves companies would figure out how to adapt to changing markets and consumer habits and end up succeeding. But hopefully this doesn't happen because they've gotten away with profiting for themselves for so long. As far as real estate goes, I do think that we would see an initial drop in value in larger homes because people would want to start living only in the square footage that they actually need, rather than having 5 extra rooms that they never use and have to buy expensive things just to fill the space. People might move from larger homes into smaller, more efficient units. Or maybe they would have a friend or two move into the extra room so that everybody could cut costs. I do think that we would see a sharp decline in the construction industry because there would be significantly less demand for new units as people start to more efficiently utilize the real estate that's already available. Which is bad news for developers and real estate agents because the amount of transactions and new homes hitting the market will start to decline. I'm sure these people could find other work in remodeling or property management or something like that, as existing homes will need to be updated and tenants still have to be taken care of. Lastly, environmentally speaking, there would obviously be immense benefits because there would just be so much less pollution, unnecessary waste, creation of useless products, and an explosion of growth in implementation of clean energy and zero waste methods of production. There are plenty of other factors that I didn't have time to dive into today, but overall, a minimalistic consumer culture will eventually weed out the all-for-themselves profit-driven corporations, open up new opportunities for values and people-driven businesses, and create a much more sustainable future for the human race. By enriching the lives of families that are now making the most of their hard-earned income, we would just see so much increase in community values, cooperation in opposing political and interest groups, and I truly believe an overall better system of living for all of us here on planet Earth. Thanks again for watching, y'all. Let me know what you think in the comments below. How do you think the economy would change if everyone suddenly became a minimalist? Do you think overall the economy would suffer? Or do you think overall this would eventually lead us to a better system of economics? How have your consumer habits changed as you've started to minimize your life? Alright, thanks so much again for watching, y'all. I'll catch you on the next video.